This is the Book Deal Podcast,
where you will discover the inspiring stories of the authors behind your favourite books.
No matter what stage of writing you are at, we've got you covered. I'm Tina Strachan.
And I'm Madeleine Cleary, and join us as we pull back the curtain of published authors.
One deal at a time.
The Book Deal Podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land and waters which it's recorded on, and pays respect to their elders past, present and emerging. It's Madeleine here. I just wanted to quickly drop in and say that for those who want to stay in the know, Tina and I have just launched our own newsletters. We'll be sharing all the details we don't get to cover in our monthly catch-up episodes, and if you sign up, you'll be absolutely hearing our news first. You'll also go into the draw to win a free copy of our books, including an early copy of my debut novel, The Butterfly Women. Signing up is free, and we promise we won't inundate you. It'll just be our news every couple of months. You can find the links on our websites or in the show notes of this week's episode. We hope you enjoy.
Do we need to ever start with like, hi Madeleine? Because don't we just like cut it? I love how we've been talking nonstop for like an hour and 15 and then you press record. It's like nothing.
And this is how we shall start our episode. Hello everybody. We've literally got nothing to say because we've just been chatting, which we should have probably hit record an hour and 15 ago, but Tina.
Oh, we're so professional. Hi Madeleine, how are you going?
Oh, you know what it's like. Just the last month's been crazy. I think for both of us, we've both had a very interesting month, and we're going to do our little updates for the month. But and I was just looking back at my calendar to say, what have I done? And yeah, it's
a lot.
It's a lot. Same with you. Okay, I want to hear all about. I mean, the last time we caught up, you were in the throes of having your book out. I think you were like a few weeks out. How's the last month been?
Yeah, really busy, but super fun. So yeah, I'm still in that, the very important 6 to 8 weeks, they say, don't they, of like really just pushing the new release kind of thing.
That's what Amy Kaufman actually said to us, which it was something you organised for our debut crew. We got to have a chat with her in the last month, which was fantastic. She said, go in your first 6 to 8 weeks, because that's when you've got all the stock in the bookshops before they go and return it all. Hopefully not, or it's sold.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it's and I have to say, you do get really sick of seeing yourself and talking about yourself. I mean, some people probably don't, but I do, and a bit sick of looking at my phone, I have to say. But yeah, my advice now that I'm almost 8 weeks into it is, yes, you will go through that, but just keep doing it. Like, you're really only going to get this chance, and it's really important. So just to do as much as you can. And when I say that, I guess I'm talking, there's a little bit of socials plays a part of it, but then there's so many other things, I've been doing some podcasts, not just this one, other people's podcasts.
Do you want to name a few so the listeners can go and find them?
Yes. So Words and Nerds. I did the really fun Words and Nerds with Danny V, and the Australian Book Lovers podcast as well, which was really fun. Yes, that's with one of the hosts. Her name is Veronica Strachan, like spelt the same as my last name.
No.
But she says Strachan. Yeah, I know. It's so weird. I'm constantly correcting people because they say Strachan and I'm like, no, it's Strawn. And she actually pronounces it that way.
Did you talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah, we did, because we got no relation, which was really funny. Yeah, so lots of podcasts, lots of bookshop visits.
A wine? I saw you did a wine event. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Read between the wines.
Love it.
Yeah. Sorry. Hang on. Read between the wines. That's right. God, I thought I got it wrong there for a minute. And that was at the beautiful Quick Brown Fox bookstore up in Brisbane, and it's a teacher librarian event. So it's I'd always heard about Read Between the Wines, and I thought that sounds amazing, but I do kidlit, so maybe I'll just never get to do one of them. But no, it was 3 kidlit authors, Kate Foster and Kirsten Eland as well, and we just got to meet some beautiful teacher librarians, have a little beverage and some cheese and crackers, and chat about our books, which was super
special.
amazing. It was really nice. And then last week I did Romancing the Stars, which is a Book Links Brisbane event, which is they have, maybe it was 14 stars, which are the authors or the illustrators. And then people can book in, and it's kind of like speed dating, and you go around to each. So there's like groups of people, and as the star, so the author or the illustrator, you've got 3 minutes to sort of talk about your book, and then people can ask you, after that people can ask questions, and then I think you've got another 3 minutes for questions, and then they ring a bell, and the author and the illustrator move to the next group. And so stressful. I have to it's kind of, by the end of it, because I had to say it like 9 different times, pretty much the same thing. Couldn't remember what I had said or hadn't said anymore, but hopefully it was okay. But that was super fun, just filled with amazing, wonderful.
So wait, who were you pitching to though?
So there's a lot of teachers there, a lot of teacher librarians there as well, and lots of aspiring authors and illustrators, and lots of published authors and illustrators too coming along and checking it all out. So that was super fun, just to catch up with lots of amazing crew.
Did your pitch change the 9 times you did it?
Actually, not really. Not really.
Good. It must have been really good from the start then.
I don't know. Because you've only got 3 minutes, so you're trying to pack everything in, and then sometimes I rambled for too long, and I think it got a bit shorter actually because I was cutting stuff out to fit in and not rush. But that was a really exciting event and really fun. And yeah, so there were some cool other events and other ways of promoting the book, I guess, doing it that way. My mum's been doing a hard job of going around to the bookshops. She's been going hard as my street team. And she keeps like messaging me like, this bookstore, they've got 5 books. There were 6 there yesterday. Now there's only 5, but they would like you to go in and sign them. So I get like, the proper sales stats every time she goes
be
out.
Working for HarperCollins. She's got the local insight. She can intel.
It's been really cute. So it's been really busy. I think we were just saying before, this is the first week I don't have an event for a while. So I'll have to rustle something up.
And in the midst as well, you also messaged me and said you've finished the draft of your new book as well. Is that right? New writing?
Yes.
You've somehow fit this in the cracks. I don't know how you've done that.
Yes, I typed the end.
Yes, and you sent me the video of that, which is so exciting.
I know. It was really amazing. I think because I had some time off with the release of Nika and the Missing Key, I think I've just, apart from all the publicity and everything, I found it was really important actually to keep on writing on something new when I could. I think that was just kind of keeps you connected still and a little bit grounded. And, as I keep saying, I am an everyday writer, so I think I just have to. I think it just happens. But that was really good to keep some routine. And I could just get so much done if like I have the time, it turns out. So, yeah, that was super exciting to just write the end. And now I've got like lots of edits and things to do on it. But, it's such a big milestone, isn't it? To
huge.
Get just the idea out, which is great.
And you've also been doing Nika Book 2 edits.
Yep,
as well.
I did the typeset for that. And so that'll probably be back again soon. So looking forward to doing that. It's been really fun getting back into it actually, and because it's been a big chunk of time. So that was really fun too.
And pre-orders, are they open now for Nika Book 2?
Oh, yeah, they would be. Actually, I'll have to double check. It's called Nika and the Storm. So that's a little bit of a giveaway of what happens in that book, which is really exciting. So, and quite fitting.
Yes, you've just gone through the cyclone.
Because we just had a cyclone, like a proper cyclone. Like it was, and I live on the coast, and that thing came from the ocean, and there was no buffering for us. It was full on, really, really crazy.
Are you okay? Was it everything okay in terms of where you were living?
Yeah, like we were like we had, our house wasn't damaged or anything like that, but the street was damaged, just like trees just pushed over everywhere, like even just small street trees. It just was out of control. And the beach was wrecked. But just grateful that we weren't damaged and no one was hurt, because a lot of people did suffer a lot of damage. And I think there could even be, I think most people have their power back on now, but that's it was a long time. Some people like 10 days with no power. Some people without water. I had friends coming over and showering and doing their washing at my place and stuff because it had just been so long. So yeah, it was really full on. So yes, I was editing about Nika's storm during our cyclone, which was
very atmospheric for you. Probably not what you want, but
No.
Oh goodness, I'm glad that everything is okay.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
We were very worried about you, Tina.
It was very strange experience, but yes, we're all recovered now, which is great. So, but yeah, so a really busy month, but things have been ramping up for you too.
They have been. And actually, before I talk about that, I do want to talk about something that's been going around on social media, speaking of socials, also I have an app now on my phone that restricts my social media content. So I'm only now viewing it. I can access it on a 2-hour period during the day, which has been amazing. Very, very good for my focus.
Do you want to tell everyone what that app is?
It's called Freedom, and Amy Kaufman again recommended this, and it's for people who have zero willpower like me.
Yeah.
I highly recommend
it's
it.
not just willpower. And that was another thing that Amy said, which I've even, been spruiking that advice. And it's for the kids, for my kids as well. Like she was saying, who am I to stand up against the billions of dollars that these tech people have put in to making sure these apps are the most addictive thing that exists, so that you are actually powerless to stop it.
That's right.
She's like, I just can't. I'm one person, and of course they're hooking me because that's 100% what they're designed to do, and they have psychologists and like tech, or the biggest tech experts there are, to make sure that you can't say no to it and you can't look away from it. And so she's like, so I just take that decision away from me and the fight away from me by using one of these apps that just blocks it off for a couple of hours a day. And we think about our kids with even less self-control, and it's not their fault. These things were designed to suck them in,
to target you, and so you are consuming their content over and over and over, and
you're powerless.
All of us feed that as well, and this is something I wanted to talk about, because yesterday, and I didn't prep you on this, Tina, but it's something that I think it's important to talk about. Yesterday, I think The Atlantic released a searchable function based off the Library Genesis platform, which pirates creators' content and has been used by Meta, speaking of Meta, to train their AI. And this has caused a huge discussion, I think, across the world, but in Australia as well, that Australian creators, so that's writers, musicians, poets, everybody who is creating is having their pirated work used to train AI with no compensation. The shocking thing for us, and was part of a discussion in our debut crew for this year, is that even our debut writers who've been just published in the last few months are featuring on that database. So their work has already been pirated. Their books have only been out for a month or two and have been already stolen and used to train AI, which has to be something that we're talking about more. There has to be better regulation of this and fairer compensation for creators. What do you think, Tina?
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Have you looked your book up? I mean, I know it's not out yet, but...
Mine is not, because I don't think it's been published, but I expect that, given many of our debut crew are already up there, that it will be. What about you, Tina? Have you checked yours?
I had this really... I was like... it's a search. You can actually go and follow the link, and it's a searchable database. But a part of me was like, I actually didn't even want to, for some reason, write the title in, because I was thinking, am I just going to alert it to the fact that my book exists, and then they'll be like, actually, no, we don't have that one, but now we do. So I looked up my name. And there is a T. Strawn that is a geneticist somewhere, and a lot of his medical papers have been used, but I couldn't see mine. But I didn't search for long. I just wanted to get as far away from it as possible. But yeah, it's pretty horrifying.
It's uncomfortable. That's the thing. It's really, really unsettling,
isn't it? Because we just, who, like I said, who are we to fight these tech giants? And they, but it's going to come down to us, right? It's going to come down to enough people
And not
we're the
just
only ones that can
creators,
push back.
but all the people that are, consuming content and using AIs and AI is becoming so important in our society as well. So having regulation around it is really important. So it's not just up to creators to defend our own work. It has to be people who want to pay fairer compensation to creators for that licensing. You think about how many thousands of hours have we put into our work, Tina?
Yeah, for it to be stolen straight away and used for whatever.
Thousands and thousands and thousands upon hours of our time in this, and for it to be pirated is just devastating.
I have another Amy Kaufman reference. At another event that I saw her speak at, she started talking about it, and and how upset she is with the whole situation. This was like probably 6 months ago. And because she was saying how you can, type into these AI generators, write me a 50,000 word book in the style of Amy Kaufman and I don't know, Isle of the Gods, for instance, which is one of her books. And you can do that and it will come out in 100% her, very, very close to her writing style and all the characters, all that sort of thing. And it's just because it's just taken all of her, back catalogue and used it. So like that's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And she hasn't been compensated for that, the training that's gone into that machine. And so things have to change. And I think it's really relevant. I wanted to raise it because one of the things that we wanted to talk about on this episode is actually about how authors make money. Licensing our work for AI is not one of them currently.
No.
And I think I wanted to talk about it because a lot of people, as my book will be sort of moving closer to publication, so it'll be just under 6 weeks now. A lot of my friends and family, so people who are outside the industry, are asking me, so how do you make money? Are you going to be able to take more time off? What?
Are you going to quit?
Are you going to quit?
You've got a book out.
Are you going to go down to part-time? How do you make money?
Yeah.
How do you answer that, Tina?
How do you make money? Having your books pirated is certainly not helpful. So I guess, and one thing I've heard, and maybe this is a myth that we need to bust on our upcoming episode, is that, but I don't think it is. I think there's actually a lot of truth to it, depending on who you are. But the majority of your, I guess, money that you make by publishing a book is often on everything else that you do around it and not just book sales. So obviously if you have a cracker and, sell a lot of books, you become, like a bestseller or something like that, maybe that's where you'll make most of your money. But a lot of other writers and, especially in the kidlit community, doing events, especially speaking at schools is a really big one. Children's book week, CBCA book week as well, which is actually about a month long now.
So I heard a myth actually that kidlit authors make a majority of their income in book week or book month now. Is that true? Do you want to bust that myth?
Well, I guess I think it's real. No, I don't know because I haven't worked in a book week yet, but it can be, and I guess we can talk a bit more about this, but obviously there are fees that you can charge for speaking, and the ASA lists that, and that's definitely something that people.
Society of Authors, yes, yeah.
Yes, they definitely have guidelines for not just for schools, rates of pay for everything, speaking everywhere, and for how long, and everyone definitely should use that when they're charging, because it isn't just the couple of hours or hour that you're speaking at the school for, or the library for, or some other festival for. You're prepping for that beforehand. You're driving there. It is your time, and so you have to make sure that you're compensated for that. So you can, because lots of schools are trying to book out authors in that book week. It's probably the busiest, and for some schools, it's the only time they can get authors in. It can be that's probably when you can make a lot of bookings and make, maybe the most of your money for that. Just go hard in that sort of week and book it out. And book it out, yeah.
Hi, my name is James Hinchon and I'm the author of Llamas in the Library, which is my debut picture book. Llamas in the Library is out now in stores around Australia and is published by 5 Mile. Ian Worrell-Dutton is the incredible illustrator of the picture book, and it has been such a joy to work with him and 5 Mile in this process. My wife and I work in an educational setting, and our family is heavily involved in the agriculture program, caring for sheep, alpacas and chickens. This naturally led me to write this story. Llamas in the Library is aimed at young readers, 4 to about 9, and is a cheeky rhyming story about 13 llamas that wreak havoc throughout a school. Students stumble upon this outrageous situation and must work together to corral the llamas back outside to their paddock in the school ag plot. Throughout the journey, teachers can be heard shouting, "There's llamas in the library and we need to get them out," which is essentially the hook that the story is built around. It's a lot of fun, and I really hope it connects with young and old alike, particularly those interested in these fun-loving goofball animals. Thank you for your support and for the Book Deal podcast for the opportunity to share with you all today. Bye for now.
Okay, so let's talk about, let's go to the start. So if you're an emerging writer, I think this will be really interesting because this is how from when you sign the book deal until when you get to the point where you are making sort of kids' book week bookings, you earn money along the spectrum. And I found this quite interesting before I signed my deal to understand how it is that and that people throw around all these words as well. So we can try our best to explain it. And if we're wrong, people can tell us and correct our knowledge.
Please. Or send us some additional questions as well if we don't cover off on them, because we were thinking of doing, maybe another episode where we delve into it with
someone who knows more,
someone
perhaps.
who's the pro. Yeah, we can only talk, I guess, from our experience. And in saying that, I think, Madeleine, you know a lot. So please tell me.
I've tried my best.
Correct me on what my thoughts are.
Okay, yes. So when you sign your contract, you may or may not be given an advance. Correct? Yes. What is an advance, Tina?
So an advance is money that your publisher will pay you as an advance of your sales, basically. So if you get $1,000 advance, then you have to sell enough copies for you to make $1,000 back in your royalties. So not $1,000 worth of the actual book, but as many books as it takes for you to make $1,000 in royalties before you then see additional money after that in royalties.
That's right. So an advance is an advance against future earnings. So so the publisher is basically saying, we're going to give you this amount of money because in future, when you start earning money against your book, we want to sort of, give you this in advance. And then as soon as you're selling books, you earn out once you have earned up to that account. So you will receive an advance and then you will only start earning money on your book sales once you've earned out that advance. And some people don't ever earn out.
No.
I have some stats actually.
Okay. I was just going to mention that some people don't get any advances for various reasons, and maybe smaller publishers can't do that. But there's an upside to that in that as soon as you sell one book, you start getting royalties.
Exactly.
And then, it may sound amazing to get, a 7-figure advance on your book, but also you may also never sell, earn out the dollar. And then that's it. And that's, so you'll never get royalties. So there's a flip side to everything.
And it's interesting because I've been seeing a few things circulating on social media about this. They like to say, they signed a 6-figure book deal, which sounds like a lot of money, a 6-figure book deal. But when you break it down, an advance is also paid in installments. So it might be you don't get the full amount of their money generally straight away. You get a portion upon signing your contract, you get a portion upon delivering your first edit,
Yes.
and then you get a portion when it's released. So if you break all that down, and that might all happen over a course of a couple of years, you're then also paying taxes on that advance as well. So six-figure book deal is amazing in Australia, and I'd say most authors do not receive that much in advance. But even having a six-figure book deal doesn't guarantee you being able to leave your day job.
But you had some stats, don't you?
I do. So did you know, Tina? So this is based on the Australian Society of Authors 2023 survey. So it's the latest stats I could find. 31, so close to 32% of authors in this member survey received no advance.
And these are traditionally published.
Traditionally published, that's correct. So 70% of authors received an advance of less than $5,000. Yeah. And of those who earned an advance, so you've got about 32% that have no advance, but of those who did earn an advance, only about 60% earned out. So about 40% never saw another cent after their book was released in the world. And I guess
I was just going to say, can you hear that? I think it's the sound of every single one of our aspiring author listeners just switching off and like going, that's it, putting their pens down. They're like, I am not writing anymore.
I was just going to say, this is sounding very doom and gloom.
But we don't do it for the money. That's the thing, right? But
no.
Anyway.
But having said that, this is just talking about advances and royalties.
Yeah.
So there are other ways to earn money as an author to support yourself that are beyond this. And you know, we're talking about things like Book Week, speaking events, festivals, but also side things as well. So things like starting podcasts and newsletters and, you know, so you've got other things that are in the pipeline as well. Royalties. Can you explain what royalties then are?
Oh, probably not as good as you, but so royalties is the percentage that you get paid for each one of your books that you sell, which there's a lot of, I guess, different royalties, and they're made up of differing things. If you, so say, I think there's 10% is like a pretty standard, amount that you get of royalties of the recommended retail price. So 10%. If you're doing an illustrated book, your illustrator will get a percentage as well. And then there's a whole world of other things that can go into that. And like you said, so that's for print, say, as an example. And then if you have an audio book, there'll be, a different percentage perhaps.
I think it's about 25%.
And a different price.
It's generally about 25% for audio and 25% for ebooks as well. So I guess we should also say that, your ebook advance is also going to be separate from your print advance. Well, it depends actually.
It depends.
Yeah. So you might be with a publisher that will license those audiobook rights to another party, and then they will pay an advance on top of that as well. So there's lots of different things. If you sell your rights to overseas, you will get an advance from international publishers for each one of those sales overseas as well. So that all starts, adding up. If you get optioned for a movie or a TV series, you will get an amount of money for that time as well. And that's a whole other sort of kettle of things. So there's lots of different avenues, I suppose, as an author.
Yeah. Yes.
So the royalty is that percentage that you receive every time there's a book sale. So, for example, The Butterfly Woman will be $34.99 RRP, recommended retail price. And so 10%, $3.50 per book, minus GST, of course, but it's about $3.50 per book. So when people ask me, how much money will you be getting when we buy your book? I said about $3.50. And people are shocked outside the industry actually to hear that. And they go, oh, the publishers must be taking all that money. I'm like, no.
You've got to factor. And I just think to myself, these books take years to make.
Yes.
Years to make. And I can't even count how many people have contributed to it. The multiple editors, the typesetters, there's people behind the scenes that I didn't even know about, like designers. There's not just illustrators, but there's designers and there's cover designers and there's, people that I haven't met.
Costs, just the printing cost of paper.
The paper is a huge thing at the moment. People may not realize paper cost has gone up drastically. The printers, the distributors, the packaging, the marketing people, and just absolutely everything that goes into it. So when you go, well, a $32 book and you get $3, what about everybody else?
That's right.
And
so
really
obviously the publishers need to make money. So that's always going to be a thing, but they're certainly not taking the rest of that $32
for themselves.
For themselves.
Yeah.
They are also selling at a discount to booksellers. Booksellers also have their own overheads, particularly the bricks and mortar booksellers. They will get it at a discount. They then sell it and they must take a cut of that book as well. And we want to support our bricks and mortar booksellers, especially our independents as well, as much as we can. So, we were actually having a chat today in our debut crew about the difference between when a book's discounted, do you get the same amount from a discounted book as you would selling for the full retail price? There is a difference, but it depends on how much of a discount that retailer got. Then you get the net receipts. The net receipt, so you get the difference between what the publisher is earning, which is the net receipt, at 10%. So that would be perhaps about $1.50 instead of $3.50 if they're selling it at a higher discount to retailers. And they would do that for, those big companies that like Big W who are going to sell huge volumes of stock that you
and that's good. The thing. That's good. Yeah, it is discounted, but it's the volume's bigger, right?
That's right. And it's all part of this landscape, this distribution landscape that we are part of. So it sounds low, but there's a whole lot of things that go into that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. And it just differs for each person. And I love how different we are on this, Madeleine, as in you're like, I want to know my print run. I want to know exactly how much I get paid for everything. I want to know how the sales are going. I need to know everything. And I'm just like, I will know when my statement comes in and I don't need to know before that because it is not helpful for me to know that.
I know, it's so funny.
Do my thing.
I think because I've come from a book selling background that I have this really strong interest in this.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing as well is, it would be nice to be able to dedicate more time and energy to writing if there is a moment where I have that opportunity in the next few months. I'm going to do that and try and step back from work a bit and have that opportunity. So I'm curious to sort of track this and understand, okay, where are we heading? What are we doing? What might that look like? And the other interesting thing I think too, we were talking about in our group ELR and PLR, which is another way that authors earn money through libraries. And this has actually surprised a lot of people outside the industry.
And it hasn't always been that way, though, has it? It's relatively recent, and
it is.
I believe, is it, or is it the electronic lending rights that's very recent, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's not something. It's like only happened in the last 20 years. So essentially, the government will compensate writers for the loss of book sales by people lending the book from the library. And we discovered recently that it's not based on, so I didn't tell you this, but I borrowed your book at our local library and then just immediately returned it because I'd already read it. And I was like, yeah, I'm giving Tina some money. I was like, borrow, but no, that would not have given you any extra money. It's actually based on how many copies are in circulation at a time when they do a survey, and then you will receive a nice little check in the mail.
Mm-hmm. But, it probably, so that's a bit, I guess that's a bit confusing for some people that didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. But by borrowing the book, though, it does kind of show the demand, and so the libraries might get more if they're always out. So
True.
Thank you, Madeleine. You did help with that.
No worries. That's true. That's true. And so the more copies that are in circulation, the more money gets, and the more demand, the more that people are checking it out, like the more demand there is. So if you are a library user, and I am a big library user, you are also contributing to authors' salary and income. So
Absolutely.
Continue to use your libraries.
I heard a really interesting stat. Okay, myth. I'm writing this down for our Mythbusters episode. But so I don't think it's a myth. I did absolutely hear it, and but just to get some more confirmation around it would be cool. In that there was some stat, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it was around for every one book that's borrowed from the library, it does generate like another 4, 5, 6 sales around that. It equates to that. So the importance of having your book in a library as well, although it's like people aren't paying money for it every time, but there's a stat around it because people are still reading it. And I guess then they're recommending it, and they're talking about it. They could even post about it. So they haven't paid for it, but they've, in a roundabout way, contributed to more sales.
Amazing. And I was actually talking to a friend's mum who's part of a book club associated with the library. They order in, and there's about 20 of them in this book club. The libraries actually order in 20 copies of the book and then distribute it at once a month, a different book once a month. The library chooses it. How wonderful to have 20 copies of your book circulating in just a local branch of a library. Yeah. That's invaluable. I'm finding like most, new published books, you're lucky to get 1 to 2 or 3 copies generally, unless you're like a big bestseller. So the more copies in circulation, like you said, word of mouth is probably what sells books the most, which is, really organic and lovely. So,
and it's a long game, really, isn't it? Like everyone wants to come out of the gates as a bestseller, but really what you want is for people to read the books and love them, and they have a long, long life on the shelf.
Exactly. And once, as debuts or emerging sort of early career writers, you probably won't be, most people, according to, the ASA survey results, won't be receiving lots and lots and lots of money in their first year. But this is something, talking with other authors about, sometimes it's their second or third or even fourth book that really propels them. And then people will go back to their first or second or third books and read their backlist. And that's, so it's not to say give up. I'm never going to make any money on this, so why bother? Like both you and I didn't start writing because we expected to make any money from it. I remember the first time I think I won it was a writing prize, and I think I won $500. It was for a short story.
Wow.
I know.
It's pretty good.
I was
what competition was this?
It was actually, I'm just looking up, I've got the award on my bookshelf, the E.M. Fletcher Writing Award, and it was in 2022. Great competition. It's based in Canberra, but it's open to all Australian residents. And I came second, I think, in the award, and I won this $500. And I remember when it hit my bank account, I was like, oh my goodness, I have been paid for my writing. Like that, this is the most amazing thing ever. And I'm not to say that we should discount and just accept whatever, and that writers should be paid little and I'm not saying that at all, but hanging on to the fact that we do this because we love it, we get paid for it, that's amazing as well. We both, you and I, have been paid for our work, which is so, so, so cool, and it's a privilege that not everybody has had in the past. But yes, not discounting that writers shouldn't be paid more. I think they absolutely should be, but sort of holding on to that, if you're feeling that feeling like, oh, I'm never going to make any money out of this, just those little small wins can help too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's important to have a look at the ASA website, and that's going to be my top tip for the episode. I don't know if that was going to be yours and I've stolen it, but
no, that's a
my
good
top
one.
tip for the episode is have a look at the ASA website and check out their rates of pay. And it's important to, I guess, use that as your guide as well. And if everybody just is aware of what it is that they need to expect, I suppose, and make sure that you're charging for everything that you should be doing, because that's really important as well.
Absolutely. And actually, that's an interesting one because I'm going to be doing lots of library visits and sort of appearances, which is amazing. Some of them I'm doing during my publicity period in May, and I've made it quite clear. One, I've been asked, oh, are you going to be donating your time to the library, or will you be, charging the ASA standard rate? And I know that it's often common during publicity periods to donate your time, and I'm happy to do that. But I made it very clear, because it's in the first few weeks of my publicity campaign, that I'm happy to do that, because I don't want to set a standard for other authors to just do these things for free, because often there is an expectation, oh, well, if you're selling your book there, that you will be speaking for free. And it's a cost. You have to drive there, you have to prepare for the presentation. If you're on a panel, you have to read the other books. You are giving up not just that 1 hour of your time. So I think there is a fair expectation that people get paid for those things. I've got other events that will be not during the publicity period, and in those periods I will be, paid for that, which is amazing. And libraries actually are given funding for authors' appearances. So if you are an author out there and you're worried about asking to be paid, you refer to the ASA. And to be honest, the libraries have been amazing, and they've actually referenced the ASA standard rates of pay in advance before approaching me. So they've actually, in their approach, said
they know about it.
Yeah.
And they know about it because of all the other authors ahead of you that stuck to it and quoted it all the time. Yeah.
So do stick to it. It's
they
really
do
important.
expect it. Yeah. And you're right. They do have a budget for it. But I think I guess in those first few weeks of the promotional period, you are trying to sell your book and get the word out there. So it does make sense that you're happy to sort of do whatever you need to do to sell the book. And then afterwards, it's almost like you're actually drawing people to the library or to the bookshop or something like that. So initially the benefits for you to get that promotion for the book. And then after that, it's the benefit is for you as well, but it's also the library then asking you, and it's beneficial for them to have you come in. Yeah. So I can see.
I agree.
And that's when you charge.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I guess then to answer the question, when people are asking me, are you going to be leaving your day job, or
the short answer is
no, but that doesn't mean, and I had this great chat with Natasha Lester last week, and it will be coming up in the week after this one. She's like, aim high. If you're an emerging writer, if you're an early career writer, why not have the goal of being one day a New York Times bestseller? Because that's one of her goals for this year, is to get back on the list. And so I was like, oh, but what about goals for us? Like, that's not going to be realistic for us. She's like, no, aim high. Just you can still aim for these things. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't hit the mark, that's okay. But, look at so many authors whose third books have been the ones that have been the big superstar hits. So you've just got to keep going and going and going. So,
and everyone's journey is different, and you cannot predict it. So I think you've just got to do what you can, and and obviously enjoy it at the same time. And I totally agree with aiming high, because you have to, right? Like you have to.
The hope. You've got to have the hope.
You've got to have the hope, and it kind of forces you then into taking the steps. And is it a bit of manifesting? Is that what we call it? I don't know, but it makes you just take those steps that are in the right direction. I think it's very important to be a little bit realistic about it, because as well, I mean, we know that you might make, you might make no money at all.
Yeah.
No, maybe you sell a handful of books. Maybe it's a complete flop. But just being realistic about the industry, and of course, the money and side of it as well. But but always looking and always having that goal of being successful.
Yes,
because it certainly can't hurt, and to channel that energy.
And why not you?
Absolutely.
All the authors that have become super bestsellers, or they are just normal people as
They
well.
are.
So
Absolutely.
so why
Yep.
not you?
Mhm.
So I guess we don't want to leave this episode on a negative tone. We don't want to put anyone off. But also I think, if you are put off writing, because you're wanting to earn money from your writing, maybe it's not the right
Maybe it's not the
for
no.
you. Because I know, like you and I know, even if we didn't get paid a cent for what we do, we would still be writing every
Yeah,
day.
absolutely.
It's something that we pour our heart and soul into, and it's something that I'm going to continue to do, even if I'm just getting that $500 award, which is amazing.
Yes, I know. It's just like a little added bonus, right? I was writing these books anyway. I was writing anyway. So the fact that they're getting published and is just, and I might get paid for it is great.
Exactly.
What a cherry on top.
Exactly. So for any people who are listening and want to help out writers, buy their books, borrow their books, attend their events, attend the festivals, engage. These are all the things that you can do to help us, and call out anytime you can, particularly if we've got some influential people on the call where, you see a need for better regulation, better pay for creators, and protection of creators' content online.
So were they all your top tip for this episode, Madeleine?
My top tip, Tina, is yes, buy and borrow books.
This is an excellent top tip.
All right.
Thanks, Madeleine. Good to chat.
Thank you for listening to the Book Deal podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the pod so you can receive updates as soon as our new eps drop. And to keep up to date with what the pod is doing, you can also find us on Instagram.